Evolved from monkeys after seeing the evidence. Started this world as we know it, black is relevant. Try to play on my intelligence, how you live on fake glory. Just ask them, it's lies in his story. Hey man, C-Rite.
To stand up, tall and proud.
Hey, welcome back to Grit and Grace. Their lovely host, Madam and Alice. Forgive us for our absence and delay in the last couple episodes. As you all know, Houston has some inclement weather. I had to go out of town for work. Madam was living it up on the cruise. But we're back now. And with a real special episode near and dear to my heart, Juneteenth and Black in corporate America. I've been steaming for this episode.
Black power, y'all. Welcome back, y'all, to Grit and Grace. We're happy to have y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave us some comments and check out our previous episodes. I think we are now on episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 5 good episodes to go and check out, and let us know what you think, and let us know what you want to hear more from us about, and any other topic suggestions. Let's get into it.
Okay, so with a little introduction as to what Juneteenth even is, for those that don't know, we grew up knowing by virtue of our skin tone. So, but essentially Juneteenth was when the slaves or the enslaved people in Galveston in Texas actually found out that we were free. And that was in 1865. So Juneteenth of 1865.
Come on, book smart.
And it took 3 years for that news to get to Texas, because the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed all the enslaved people, was signed in 1862. So this day is celebratory for us because none of us are free if some of us are not free.
Pause, though. Let's give a shout out for this fresh retwist, because I just noticed. Fresh retwist for Juneteenth.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Representing.
I ain't gonna be crusty on Juneteenth.
I know that's right. I'm going to get my hair done on Thursday. I'm looking for you, Marie. Go ahead.
But yeah, so this is a very grand day for us, for Black people. It's a grand day for our nation's history, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. But it is, and it's just wild that something that went into effect like 3 years before didn't get to Texas, which is known as one of the most, I hate to use that word so early, but as one of the most racist states out there.
We are a red state, unfortunately.
And I think that is just one of the things that came, like 3 years is an abysmally long time for people to be free and still acting like they're not. Well, they didn't know. So
they didn't, yeah.
They did. So it wasn't so much, it almost feels as though the information intentionally did not get to Texas until 3 years later.
Well,
but it got there, and that's what's important, and that's why we celebrate Juneteenth.
Massa need them sheets changing and chickens ring.
You know,
that's
Texas
why.
was probably salty about the Civil War and us not winning anyway, so they was like, we ain't gonna tell them nothing.
No, Texas is very patriotic, but Texas is really, it's like its own U.S. There's the United States, and then there's Texas.
Or Texas and 49 bitches, as the memes online say. I didn't come up with that.
I ain't say it.
Nobody
I'm just
loves
saying
Texas
everything's greater in Texas.
Texans love Texas.
And I love Texas. Now, we ain't perfect, but we perfect, and we worth it. That's all I can say.
I wouldn't even say that my love is like just for Texas as much as it is for Houston.
H-Town, holding down.
Yeah. But,
Did you see my video earlier on Instagram?
Which one?
There was divert for a second. There was a video that this girl posted who's from Houston, Texas. And she was saying how the words down in town can be said in Houstonian language or dialect and sound the exact same.
Town and down?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you talking fast enough.
Well, nah, we taking it back to like Pimp C days.
Oh, for sure.
You know, ain't no O in that down. It's an I.
Dine.
It's not even a W.
Dine.
Dine. Dine, time, trying.
I mean, we're very creative with the English language. Only T-Pain couldn't rhyme Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And mansion together.
Yeah.
So,
I don't even think people realize that it didn't rhyme.
He made it rhyme with his pronunciation.
Okay.
But yeah, so slavery was officially ended. Well, it ended for people in Texas on June 19th, 1865. And it was signed to be a federal holiday only 4 years ago. And a lot of Black people feel that it was only signed as a way to appease us because during 2020, we all know about the death of George Floyd, the riots, the protests. And so it just kind of seemed like, here you go. You can get the day off. Well, not really.
I was just about to say,
I don't even get the day off.
Yeah, can we really consider it a federal holiday if we ain't off?
And it's a federal holiday.
Yeah, that I just feel like you can't really call it a federal holiday if we don't get the day off.
It's a federal holiday.
But you know what my job told me? You can use a personal holiday for that day.
And it's just like, why do I need to do that? It's not personal. What's personal is what y'all did to my ancestors. That's why we here.
Don't even get me started on this job, child.
That's why we here.
Don't even get me started.
No, but we need to talk about it because it's not... Juneteenth is a celebration, but we're also here to talk about being Black in corporate America. And I think us not having Juneteenth off is the perfect segue to get into that. Because what were we just off for? Memorial Day?
Memorial Day.
And didn't a lot of slaves die? Wasn't that atrocity?
Yeah.
An atrocity? Oh,
yeah.
And we... All right. What's that?
I've read that it was actually started by some Black women, I want to say in South Carolina. Don't quote me, but I think that's, if my memory serves me correct, it was South Carolina for the fallen soldiers, for the Negro, what is it called? Negro Confederate Union or something like that.
Confederate,
not
Negroes.
Confederate,
Union.
Negro something Union, Soldiers of the Union or whatever. Y'all get the gist. Go look it up. And that's where it actually, supposedly, the first parade or hosting of Memorial Day was that.
They didn't do it for us. They want us to think they did.
No, I'm saying it was a group of Black women that actually started it. And then, of course, it was whitewashed and taken over as everything else.
And not to we're appreciative of all the service members and everyone that protects the country. It's not a slander, but we're just comparing how certain holidays are taken more seriously than others. Yeah. We get shit about Black History Month. We ain't.
And it's the shortest month out of all the months of the year.
And it's cold as hell. Don't nobody want to do shit in February.
I mean, it ain't that cold. If you was up north, yeah, it would be cold. Iceberg.
It's still cold. We should have Black History Month be in the middle of the summer so we can be outside
it's
really
too hot.
Celebrating.
It's too hot. You forgot where we live?
No.
Your skin will melt.
I look good when I melt. At 10, I'm going to just be a brown sticky puddle of brown sugar and molasses all over the place.
For context, she likes heat. I hate heat. So she likes the summer. Summer is not my ministry. It's not my ministry.
Not your ministry.
Not my ministry. Catch me in the fall, the spring, and the winter.
Also, all the seasons except summer?
Precisely. Priority being fall, because that's my season.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so Memorial Day, it gets a set day, the last Monday of every May, and we're all off for it. no, like I haven't heard of anybody being off for Juneteenth, and they're just like, oh, well, if it's important to you, you could take a personal day, or we have unlimited PTO. No, I need everybody to be out.
I think all colored people should be off, not just anybody.
Everybody.
Why everybody?
I want to caveat that they should be off and have to do, or if you're going to work, I want it to be so black at work that day that it's just in your face.
But then you don't have people doing blackface and stuff.
No, because then they'll get beat up. It's still corporate America, but we gonna celebrate just like we celebrate all that other shit. Don't they have margaritas in the office every Cinco de Mayo?
They do.
They do.
And they capitalize off of Cinco de Mayo, but they hate where the origins of Cinco de Mayo. So it's very odd.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very odd.
But we shouldn't have to use a personal day, a PTO day, or any of that to be off for Juneteenth. They made it a federal holiday. That means the banks closed and the mail don't run.
But why we gotta work?
But we working. But I think just like for a long time, we're black and we black. Y'all, we black.
Through and through.
Through and through. And us being black and going to work and celebrating Juneteenth, it's almost like a secret, a well-known secret, because like in front of other coworkers, you know, I code switch way too much.
Way too much.
Y'all, I'm deep in corporate America. I code switch a lot. Like
Me,
it's my,
on the other hand,
like it's my part-time job.
I'll be having to remind myself now because I purposely got myself out of the habit of code switching.
I do it to maintain comfort and ease with everybody. And I shouldn't. No, we shouldn't have.
You
to
should
do
make
that.
them uncomfortable.
I know that I should, but then that's when those labels, those stereotypes start coming out. You know,
I'm not concerned with labels and stereotypes.
I'm not concerned with them, but at the end of the day, and I keep telling people this, and we live in a real world. I got to make some money because I got to live. And even as rough as corporate America has been, I like not working weekends. I do my 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, or, you know, whatever the job demands during the week, and try to turn that shit off on the weekend. But it's like, I'm like a completely different person at work. My coworkers wouldn't know me. I wouldn't be able to tell me or tell me apart from people outside of work in every way.
I guess I just don't want to code switch so much that I lose a big chunk of myself to where it's not really me at all. If that makes sense. Like, if I was to hang out with my coworkers outside of work, which a couple of them I do and I have, I'm still a completely different person, but it's not far-fetched at all from who I really am. If that makes sense. I don't want to have to code switch into this world so far over here that it would be hard for them to identify me in my world or this world over here.
I like the separation. Because it's like, y'all don't really know me. We live in a nation where they haven't put a lot of, they want us to be inclusive, but we think about it. Segregation wasn't even 100 years ago. There's so much tension.
No, it wasn't.
And we saw how ugly things can get with tension and protest. And we shouldn't have to fight or go to work any different way than ourselves. But I think it's proven easier to.
Yeah. I just ain't willing to give up that much of myself. I know I would feel drained every day having to literally basically come out of my essence into this jumpsuit of a person, this shell of a person that I don't even identify with or know for 8 hours a day. Doing that every day for years and years on end, I promise you, you lose a piece of yourself every single time, to the point the lines get very blurred And it's just like, is this me or is this not me? Who am I? What do I really like?
And that's how
And then some people have a problem turning the code switch off. They cannot not be in, as Demon Spawn used to say, corporate. They used to say I was always in corporate, and I'm like, not at all. But yeah. And then I have another friend. He code switches very well, just like you.
I bet.
But even like if we were to go out to eat or whatever, boy, it come on so fast, and it's like, you ain't at work, homie.
Because a part of me, like, even though I code switch a lot, one thing that is consistent between work and my personal life is that I'm polite. My mama raised me that way. When I get mad, it's a completely different story. But the amount...
Listen, y'all, I've always suggested that she should get mad a lot more often, because that's when you really get the real her. And you get the nigga version.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful version. I'm telling y'all, it ain't even what you're looking at right now.
She's right.
I know.
She's right. But it like me bringing my whole self to work, they could not handle it. And I don't know. And like, it's not my fault that they can't handle it, but it could easily be my problem. And the reason that I code, before
back up, how could it easily be your problem?
Because they don't know how to diagnose. Like, our facial expressions are an issue for them. Imagine if I just wore my face the way it actually is instead of fake smile all day. The amount of times that I would be pulled in the HR office.
Okay, but then, caveat to that, don't we find a problem with them fake smiling in our face all day, but stabbing us in our forehead at the same time?
Yeah, but they can do that because they white. Their skin tone affords them privileges.
I'm not giving them an excuse. I'm not giving them a pass. So if RBF is what you're getting today, RBF is what you're getting today. Doesn't mean that something is wrong with me. Or maybe it is something wrong with me today. You'll never know. And that's the beauty of it. I like to chameleon.
You like to chameleon? Blend in with your surroundings?
No. Just saying I like the adaptability for me, right? I have a great deal of that. But I just mean it in a sense, if I have RBF, it doesn't mean that I'm pissed off. It doesn't mean that I'm mad. It doesn't mean that I don't necessarily want to talk to you, which that kind of could be a little true. Because when I'm focused, I'm focused. But it doesn't mean those things. And it doesn't mean that you should assume those things just because I have RBF. It takes a lot of energy and time to remember to put on a smile or to fake a smile. You know, I like to relax the muscles in my face because I don't want to, increase my probability of early onset wrinkles.
We Black.
I understand, but we still get wrinkles.
We
just
have
not as many.
We're not dry.
Everybody has skincare, but biologically, the skin does what the skin be doing.
You're not gonna get no damn frown, smile, wrinkles.
You can't say that when I see people, Black folks that got wrinkles.
I said you not gonna get no smile wrinkles.
I'm not claiming that, but that's also why I take the preventative measures
to let your face be in its natural state. I tried that a few times.
I think it's all about the energy, though.
My energy,
more than anything,
and my facial expressions be loud.
Your energy is always going to be louder than any facial expression,
and that's the part I be getting in troubles.
And that's the part that they can't handle. Your energy. It ain't your face. It ain't your mouth, your tongue, your eyes, your hair. It's your energy. Because one thing about Black folks, not majority of us, when we walk in a room, baby, we walk in a room. Okay? I know for me personally, I've been told when I walk in a room, I command the room and I don't even say anything. You know, it's not like I'm snapping like, hey, y'all pay attention to me. You know, majority of the time when I walk in the room, I don't even want people to notice me like that. I want to be in a corner peeping everybody else out, not the other way around. But I've been told, like, verbatim, when you walk into a room and or when you speak, it's like I want to sit up straight with my back straight and pay attention. And so that's what they mean when they say, oh, when you walk into a room, you command a room.
Have you ever had any issues with white counterparts or with that at work?
Walking into a room and commanding it?
Yeah.
Of course. You get the ones that hate it, you get the ones that are infatuated with it, and you get the ones that are curious about it. Hey.
You just gonna do it. You gonna do you either way.
It's that sauce, baby. I just feel like, listen, if you can't beat it, you better join it. If you can't beat it, you better join it. Because this train gonna keep on rolling. So you gonna hop on or you gonna get rolled over.
That part. Now, y'all, even though I bitch and complain a lot about corporate America, I'll say this. I switch jobs like I switch my drawers sometime. I ain't got no loyalty to no job. If a job piss me off, I will quit. I will find something better and I will keep it moving. I don't give a fuck. But it's like that every job. I've never worked at a Black-owned company. I've never worked for a Black-owned tech or startup or anything like that. I would imagine you can do little to no code switching at one of those. But, you know, corporate America, we all know corporate America is basically just white for the most part. And it is, but it ain't. Like, they're still considered, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean?
The caucus population is technically paper, right? Considered the majority, but in reality, they are the minority now. People of color are the majority.
But we don't have
But we don't have the majority say so.
Or power or decision making. Like, when we have to pass laws just for... Because I bet a lot of y'all are like, well, we're so tired of the racism talk. We're so tired of it. I'm tired of it too, personally. But when we have to have laws so that I can go to work with my hair like this, because this is how I choose to wear my hair, I have dreads, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
The Crown Act, it shouldn't have to exist, but it does. We're steadily always trying to carve out spaces for ourselves in this country that we were stolen from our homeland and enslaved, freed, and, you know, we still get treated like shit.
My issue with that is an act was developed just for us to wear our hair like this or like this. Yet these are the same styles and things, from lips to nose to eyelash to hips, in the whole 9 yards, that they're trying to mimic and be. They're going down to pay Dr. Miami.
Prime example, when we wear ponytails, hoops, and
it's considered ghetto.
It's ghetto. When they took it, it's the clean girl aesthetic now. Mm-hmm. It's the clean girl aesthetic.
And it's like, no, we've been doing this since sliced bread. Even before sliced bread, if we want to be honest, going back all the way to the ancient Egyptian and Africans.
Yeah. And while we're speaking on hair, I'm sure y'all knew about the pathways that they would cornrow into hair.
Into your hair.
The seeds that they would braid into
Even
hair.
the Underground Railroad, it was done like that.
Yeah. There's so much history and culture. I promise all of this is going to come back together. We not just bitching to be bitching. For one, I just want all of the fellow people of color and Black people to know that y'all aren't alone. It is a very common struggle amongst all people of color in corporate America. It's been a struggle. I recently went on a work trip to Mexico, and out of 80 something people at the startup that I work at, there's only 2 Black people. The other Black person did not come on this trip. Me being one of them. I'm the only Black woman at my company. And not only that, at the resort that we were at, I was the only Black person there. And so there's
You
just
was
one
like fresh
question.
meat.
I was so uncomfortable and just like angry that so many people asked me this. We have people from all over the world, Europe mostly. And so me sticking out like a sore thumb, my chocolate, my dreads out, all of this. Oh, where are you from? Texas, Houston. No, where are you? Like, where are you from? Or region, or
Because they think that you're exotic.
Exactly. It's an infatuation. It's stupid, but it's something that happens all the time. And it's all these little microaggressions and stuff that just builds on top of each other that makes people, for one, maintain the code switching because it's easier, or two, it drives them crazy after work. It depends on the day with me, but it's just wild. They're like, oh, I tell them, I probably said this 10 to 12 times. Oh, where are you from? Houston, Texas. I'm at home office. Originally?
And these were your coworkers asking this?
Originally?
And where were they from?
U.S., Europe.
So it was the Europeans that were asking this? Or the U.S. folks that were asking this?
Everybody. And it's just like,
well, to be fair, you don't necessarily like there are Black people, but then there are people that, I mean, we all know that we have African roots, like from the originals, yes. But there are folks that really have those prominent features, and you are one of those people. So I can see them asking you that.
And I think they racist as hell.
Blessed be the name.
Because like they're just so proud to say where they're from. But it's just like, read a fucking room. Like, I don't know where I'm from. What a privilege that must be to know like your great grandpa was Dutch and German and da-da-da-da-da and this,
but
and
we
this is
can't,
exactly part of the world where I come from and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, but how could we be upset with them when we can do our history and our research on it as to the best of our ability, for sure?
They have the privilege of knowing without being traumatized or having to go digging for it. I don't know.
Some of them, a lot of them have been lied to and don't even know. It's
a topic of conversation no matter where I have worked. People want to know where I'm from. I'm aggravated by it because if I knew where I was from.
You know that's a Sagittarian characteristic, right?
What?
The exotic thing and the whole idea around people approaching you and thinking that you're not from just regular old United States of America, but somewhere foreign. That's a Sagittarian characteristic. So it's really something to kind of be like,
I'm gonna start coming up. I'm gonna start pulling shit out of my ass, and then when people start talking about me when I'm not there, they're gonna be like, no,
you're gonna know who's yapping their gums because you're gonna be like,
no, I just want to fuck with people. Honestly, I just want to fuck with them. Like, I'm gonna tell somebody I'm from Jamaica. I'm gonna tell another person Senegal.
I could see you being from Senegal.
And then I'm gonna fuck with somebody, and I'm gonna start speaking Arabic and let somebody hear it, so that everybody can just be confused. Now we're all confused. Where is Alicia from? The world may never know.
I don't know. Sounds like, friend, you gotta do some digging and figure out where you're from, where your roots are.
I mean, I will. I've been thinking about it. I'm gonna do it. I just haven't done it yet because
Why? What's your hesitation?
First of all, I'm really impatient. I don't want to get one of those kits where you gotta swab your mouth and then send it back. Like,
how else do you think you're gonna do it?
I don't know. It just seems like that's gonna take 6 weeks.
You really have to do it not just from yourself, but your dad too, since they have the other chromosome.
Yeah, see, and that's not an option. Well, I mean, it's an option, but if I go to Florida and be like, Dad, can I have a cheek swab? He gonna be like, the fuck?
It's just not really a question. Open your mouth right quick.
I'm trying to find out where we from so I can tell the whites so they can leave me alone.
No, see, you be talking too much. You're giving too much information. You just go in there and get what you need, and that's it. That's it. You ain't gotta do all the talking. So I was trying to tell people, y'all ain't got to do all that talking. Go in there knowing what you want and what you need. And you get in there and you handle it and you dip out. Unless you want to stick around and, play around with them or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna start fucking with people though.
I did the test.
Oh,
I did it some years ago though.
Please share your origins.
Well, I did not do it from my biological father, obviously. I could use my uncle though. I know he said he would definitely be down to do it.
Not the shade a
the
few
whole
days
tree.
before Father's Day.
The whole tree. But shout out to you, Unc, for being a stand-up man. But I could definitely ask him to do it. I know he said he would always be willing to do it because he was curious too.
Okay.
Just to know a better pinpoint, especially now since my paternal grandmother has passed and whatnot, which would have been the last person that we probably could have asked, whatever. So, but anyway, from my side, and I guess just my mother's side, I got majority of my roots are Nigerian. And then Ghanaian was in there, a smidget of Kenyan, and a smidget of European was in there. And then, of course, I had Caribbean roots in there, obviously. Like my paternal grandmother was born in Grenada, so.
Okay.
And then biological father was born in Trinidad, so of course you're gonna have some Caribbean in there, but even further than that. But when I talked to my uncle about it a couple years, maybe about 3 years ago, he said that from his research and just from his younger days and asking family, obviously they passed on and whatnot at this point, but just asking them, apparently our roots do actually go back to Ghana.
Oh, okay.
In Nigeria. So it's interesting to have it on my side and mother's side, but it's like I have to show you my whole chart. I can't even just say this on my mother's side because if we share 50-50 from both parents, right? And let's say it was just from my mom, I would suspect that I wouldn't have that much of the percentage, right?
For Caribbean?
No, from the African roots and whatnot. The Caribbean, remember, was only a smidget. Makes sense, being that comes from my father's side. You get what I'm saying? So, the app got to re-download. But when it come up, I'll be able to show you.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. I have linked quite a few like relatives because it links to like your relatives and stuff that I've taken a test to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. And everything. Now I would like to do the other one. I think it's like called African Heritage or something like that.
That's the one.
Now that one I want to do with my uncle so that we can get down straight to the actual tribes.
That's what I want to know.
Because obviously I know, like I already knew the whole Nigerian and Ghanaian thing and, all the other stuff. But I want to know the tribes, honey. Because I'm going back. Okay? Okay. I'm going back and I want to know. So, okay. So see, it gives you like, this is America. I don't even have none in America. It's just the islands.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Right, right. Because we were stolen. But look where the rest of it comes from. So, based on this, we have 91.9% sub-Saharan African. 89.8% within that, 89.8% is West African. It breaks it down further. 41.3% is Nigerian, 34.2% is Ghanaian, Liberian, and Sierra Leone. And then 8.3% is Senegambian and Guinean. And then 6% is broadly West African. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And then 2% is Congolese and Southern East African. So it's like barely in there. So that's why I was saying majority of it is Nigerian and Ghanaian. And then of the European side, it's only 7%, right? 2.7% is British and Irish. 0.6% is Scandinavian.
Okay.
0.3% is French and German. And then 2.5% is broadly Northwestern European.
How did finding that out empower you any, or how did you feel when you found out the results of what makes you you?
It wasn't a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing, I feel like as a young girl, I've always felt like I didn't belong here.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like United States. Like, yeah, we were born in the United States, but I just felt like I didn't really belong. Like my spirit wasn't in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was somewhere else where they would consider foreign. So it wasn't a surprise to me. It was more just like okay, so I'm not crazy. Bet, I'm not crazy. Got it.
None of us are. We just ain't from
and then
here.
Seeing the different breakdown and stuff like that, that made sense to me too, just because of the things that I was interested in and the things that felt like peace and the things that felt like home, right? And then diving deeper into, African religions and traditions and history, it just all felt familiar, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we get a taste of that when we talked about, slave history and African slave trade and whatnot back in school. And baby, they used to burn me up. They used to burn, what was that, like 5th grade, 6th grade? Fifth grade.
But now they're not even teaching it.
Yeah, they took it out of the books.
They took it out of the curriculum. Some bullshit talking about we don't want to make the other kids feel
out of the
bad.
book too.
I don't give a fuck about how them kids feel. Respectfully,
yeah.
Imagine how all the other children have felt.
And speaking of feeling bad, right? I remember being in class and having a whole breakdown because I felt so bad. And I remember, what was her name? This was at Houston Academy. I don't remember her name, but I remember she used to drink Mountain Dew. All she would drink is Mountain Dew. She never I never seen her drink a bottle of water, not even a sip of water. It was always Mountain Dew. And her breath was, anyway, atrocious. So I remember being that young. I don't know how we are when we're in 5th grade, but I remember being that young and I was livid. I had a whole breakdown. I was livid because I just kept saying it does not make sense what the book was saying. And because to me, in the book, they were trying to portray it as if like they was doing us a favor and like we wanted it and all of this type of, and I was like, something just ain't adding up to me. Something about this ain't adding up.
They were already trying to push it as, it was a necessary evil as a part of our country's evolution or development. And we did so much for the country. We don't get the credit for it. So for them to try to spin that shit in a textbook like we were happy to be stolen and chained to a ship and sent to a foreign land.
I recently saw a video that my cousin sent me. And I had seen this before, but it had been a while. But the Catholic priest was saying to the Black members in the church that they did us a favor by having slavery and that we should be happy. Yeah, I'm going to have to find a video and send it to you. But yeah.
I don't know.
That's what he said.
I don't know. Is there anything about bitch slapping priests from in the Bible?
Just ask the Lord to forgive you. That's all I can say.
The Lord needs to forgive him.
Yes, forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do.
Because I don't think he could have said that in a room full of black people.
I don't know. It's just, it reminded me and made me think, like, what if the Black Panthers were sitting in that church? They would have tore that church up.
They would have tore his ass up.
They would have been waiting on him at the door. Like, where you been?
Speaking of Black Panthers, I think they should still exist because the KKK still. No, I need the. I understand why they can't be like out here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure y'all have heard of Judas and the Messiah. Is that what it is? With Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie based off actual events. But yeah.
You know, I also, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen this, but I saw a theory too. And it really just gave me something to think about. And it was saying, like, really how slavery became a thing. Because we also have to remember and consider, too, that the powers that be back in Africa at the time, some of them did sell us off, too.
Yeah.
But the video that I was watching by other black folks, because we were trying to figure this thing out, right, was that in a patriarchal society, right, you have these Western men that come over, these Western white men that come over, and they make a promise to these kings and these black men in power, African men in power. And they make this promise to them that they would get this in return. They would get more power in return. They would get more control in return by having slaves, right? Because of course women have never been meek. No one is just born meek like that. And so them having the trouble, well, at the time they didn't see it as trouble, but them basically having to share the power, not just amongst other men, but also the women, because there were matriarchal tribes and plenty
tons
of them,
matriarchal tribes in Africa,
even in the Egyptians. And so, of course, the white men come over and they're like, "Oh no, the man should be the head. The man should be in power and in control, and you should be able to tell the woman what to do and woo. So what a man gonna do? Ask, well, how you do that? What do you mean?" And then they come over here to bless us, to show us the right and the proper way on how to do things. And then all of a sudden,
says people slavery. Who wasn't even bathing and washing their ass.
Girl, all types of diseases. That's how we got disease in Africa.
I hate it because it's such a scar. Things like slavery, the Holocaust, they're such scars on humankind because it shows you just how ugly human nature can be and the worst of it. One of my fears and something that I genuinely think about is that with them taking what actually happened out of the curriculum, you know, like you have to know your history so it doesn't repeat itself. And it may not be in our generation. I'm not saying that
more than just knowing it, though.
It's knowing it, but like if they're not teaching it at all, or if they're teaching it like, oh, they wanted that. Imagine what that generation could do when they become full-fledged adults based off of that misinformation.
Yeah. But then the other piece to that is them actually wanting to do something about it or with it, comprehending what they're reading and learning.
Yeah, you have to be aware of your history so it doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah. And so far, we see how history keeps repeating itself.
Yeah.
Also, my heart goes out to the wars that we got going on right now and all these innocent children that are being killed for no reason. no matter what side it's on, all these innocent children that are being killed right now. I just don't think that a child should have to be at the hands of
Wow, that gnat was mad disrespectful. So Lyric smacked the gnat and the bitch didn't die. He decided to try to go up my nose. Good Lord.
I probably made him mad. I don't like no busy fly. So yeah, my heart goes out to them. But yeah, history is definitely repeating itself.
And
that's because we know history, but it has been rewritten so many times, just like the Bible has been rewritten so many. Girl, that's a whole nother topic. It has been rewritten so many times, and so everybody kind of like has a different version. And I think it gets washed and watered down every time it gets rewritten. So then, like you said, you have these generations and new generations that come in, and they only kind of get a piece.
But and my problem is that it's not being lost. They're choosing legislation, state governments, federal government. They're choosing
it. But I'm saying for those that are supposed to be ingesting it, they're losing the opportunity.
Exactly. So that it's ignorance breeds all hate. Mm-hmm. Ignorance breeds all hate. So slavery was at its core people thinking that we're not all equals, that human beings are less than, some are superior, and all of that stems from ignorance. And if we don't teach, ignorance will just continue to circulate. And we just don't need no more of that. There's plenty of it.
We don't, but I think that the powers that be purposely do it. Just like the drug epidemics we have going on right now. Right now, we have a terrible fentanyl problem. Mm-hmm. We already had an oxy problem. It never got cleared up. It's still going on.
So I just want to tell y'all, that was so fucking ghetto. If y'all haven't seen the drama docuseries called Painkillers on Netflix, it goes all into the opioid epidemic and how it was basically legal.
It still is.
It's like so much evil has happened in this country and it was legal.
It still is. It's the same way back in the 60s and the 70s when they put crack. Started that up north in New York and put crack in the neighborhoods to break up, put crack in the black neighborhoods primarily, right? And to break up the black family unit, since we on Juneteenth, right? To break up the black family unit. Even when it came down to food stamps and housing, do you know that back then women could get it, but the requirement they made, right, was that, you have to be a single mother. Majority of black families were married back then. It was at the top of our list.
I do know that.
A family unit. Mm-hmm. So to break up the family unit because it was too strong, because the black community was too strong, they had to find ways to break it apart. So for women to get child health care and welfare, to get on welfare, right? Mm-hmm. You had to be a single, you could only have one adult in the household. You had to be a single parent mother. And back then, it was normal to have 5-6 kids.
It was.
Because typically your husband took care of the financial, working. And he would come on, you was a stay-at-home mom, and you did what you needed to do for the household and the kids and whatnot, and whatever your little hobbies are. So them not having a job, which was normal, wasn't a shade thing. That was normal. Having a husband and now got 5-6 children and now got to leave my husband. And the husband feel he got to leave because he ain't making enough down at the union no more because he's black. And they didn't cut wages, right? oh, well, baby, we can get on this welfare, but I'm going to have to go move with my brother. I'm going to have to go move back with my parents just so, on this paperwork, you can put down that it's just you and the kids so we can get this help. That whole cycle started and kept going and kept going and kept going. We wonder why there's a divide.
But there's a divide in everything when it comes. There's a wealth gap. There's an education gap. There's just, and it annoys me when people refuse to acknowledge that because of the history our ancestors had, that we didn't have every opportunity.
I mean, at some point we did, and then it was taken away because we were better than the majority, and we were too powerful and too strong. And that's why they say that if Black folk would be like the other minority communities that come and link arms together, boy, this world would be completely different. Completely different. Because at the beginning and the end of the day, you can only make so many copies of the blueprint, but you can never be the blueprint.
Mm-hmm. That's a word.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if we was to link arms together and stop being this whole crabs in a barrel mentality.
Oh, I hate that shit. Listen.
I'm better than you, or I ain't gonna put you on because that might mean that you gonna take what I got. No, what's for you is for you. Okay?
Listen.
What is for you, and can't nobody take that away from you. Can't nobody sit in that seat. Can't nobody walk in that blessing or that path because it's for you. Just like hers is for hers and his is for his.
I'm trying to put everybody on. I want to see all my brothers.
Make it.
I want to see all my brothers and sisters making money. Period.
Speaking of making money, and back into corporate America, I know we kind of flip-flopping here. What about what I call the chitlins in corporate America? And it ain't just in Black community. I've seen it in Hispanic community where they think they one of these. I've seen it in our community where they think they one of these. The whole 9 yards. And that's to climb up the ladder to gain that respect and, as you said earlier, keep that comfortability to bump arms and shoulders with them.
Y'all,
to try to get somewhere. But at the beginning, in the end of the day, you still a nigga. You still, what they call Hispanics now? Why? I don't know what they call them now, but I know they used to call them wetbacks. You still a wetback.
Lyric. Madam, we can't be saying that.
I'm not calling y'all wetback. I love y'all. I got too many Hispanic best friends. We family. We here. But I'm saying corporate, we bumping arms with them and trying to separate ourselves from our culture and our community so much where we come from, right? That we trying so hard to be like them. But at the beginning and the end of the day, no matter how much they smile and pretend in our face, we still just a nigga to them. How Jay-Z said? Pink nigga, orange nigga, black nigga, still nigga.
Or what Kanye said, even if you in a Benz, you still a nigga in a coupe.
In a coupe. So I'm just saying, like, to my Black brothers and sisters, Asian brothers and sisters, Hispanic brothers and sisters, African brothers, and all of it, us trying to whitewash ourselves ain't doing much. You lose a piece of yourself every day to who you truly are. And at the beginning and the end of the day, it don't make no difference with them, because if they had to choose, they're going to choose one of theirs before they choose one of us. And that's all I'm saying.
And that's why I'm trying to start. This is going to sound so bad, but I do not give a fuck. I'm trying to start some Black nepotism, because one thing about it, as good as I am at code switching, it has benefited me in some ways because I've gotten close to people who are willing to share how they get their success. And in so many of the stories that people have shared with me, oh, my friend put me on, or I know somebody, and this person, or my dad went to school with the CEO, this and that. I'm thinking all this time, it's their credentials.
It's never their credentials. 9 times out of 10, they don't even have the credentials. And if they have the credentials, they didn't get it honestly. They paid somebody else to get those credentials because they can't even tell you the first or the last or the middle or the second or the third on how to get those credentials and what it takes. That's why they being there dumb as a doorknob. But we know everything that we need to do and what they do because we still a nigga. They use us to train them, to uptrain, to upskill them. They get bumped up and promoted and rose up. We still wear the bottom of the totem. Some of us.
And it's not fair. That's why, like, if anybody I could put something on, Black people, like, Issa, she said it. I'm rooting for everybody Black.
Everybody Black. Like, but that really makes me upset because even, I don't know, maybe this was like 2 years ago. I can't remember what politician it was. I know it was a female politician. And I want to say, I can see her face. I remember her wearing glasses, but she paid to have her daughter's SAT scores.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know her name.
I can't call her name, but I can see her. Is she in prison?
I don't know if she's still, but I know she had to do some time.
It wasn't that long.
She had to do some time. I know because it made it to the news.
Yeah, but they say that and then they get bailed out. And they get their sentence all, just don't do that again.
Slap on the wrist.
And then they go home. But if we was to do that, we would be disqualified for the rest of our lives.
Shit, we get I know just to bring into perspective, that lady lied about SAT scores. Yes. When we have parents that are using someone else's address to try to get their kids to better schools. And I think they, didn't they arrest a woman for that bullshit? Because she lied about her address to get her kid in a better school.
But several of us have done that.
Several. Y'all, it's not uncommon. We do it a lot.
And we have to do that in our communities because I forget how they call it. I know my cousin knows.
The resources, they don't.
Queen knows, but I know it's like the red line, the lower line, the blue line, stuff like that. And how they section it off so that in our communities, they place us in within, let's say it's the blue line, right? The lower threshold of community, the poorer community, right? Because they'll say, oh, well, in this blue line, this is mainly Black folk. The blue line can't go to the D1 school over here. They can only go to the ghetto schools over here where we don't give them no money, resources.
By address.
Exactly. And that's why you could be on one street and can go to the good school and cross the street and can't go to the good school. Ain't that something? And
we're not like trying to get into a history lesson here, but I think it paints the picture as us two young Black women in our 20s navigating life in America, working in corporate America, and just really trying to make sense of the world and our place in it. So many things that have happened impact us, like childhood. Growing up, everybody I went to school with, it was white people were the minority because we went to school in the hood. Drew Academy, it was like 2 white people there.
Literally.
Like 2. Victory, I can't think of none. Maybe 1.
It was a few. Not many.
In my class.
But literally, okay. Well, in my class, I think we had 2 or 3. 2.
And that just goes to show you that they...
Granted, we went to some good schools. We went to, at least I was in the magnet program.
And hood.
That's what I was going to say. All of them were in the hood. Shout out to Ekka Shakers, Fofo. But we got some of the best education, some of the best care. But those teachers really had to push. They really had to take from their own homes and their own pockets to really be able to show up and have the resources. Because again, where we were at and how they orchestrate, the funds to certain lines and whatnot. They really had to push and pull from their own pockets just to show up for us and give us what we needed.
What we deserve.
And what we deserve as a student, what they normally would get. But then you go in those neighborhoods where it's the white population or whatever, majority, and their scores are a lot lower than ours.
But let me tell you.
Or they're higher, but then you take one of us and one of them and put us side by side and, okay, let's do test run. And we boom, 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 bam, and they sweating and I need to go to the restroom and I didn't take my medication today and all this other stuff. And it's like, huh? So somebody's lying. That's all I know. The math. Don't be mathing.
And to your point earlier where you said that the teachers would have to go into their own resources, they would do that, y'all. And God bless them, because we had some really great teachers. Mm-hmm. They would go into their own resources to give us the information we need, but that didn't always translate to opportunities. And that's what's sad, because you have the talent,
but not the opportunity. We aren't really given a chance.
We're not given a chance.
And unfortunately, that's why, like you said, I think you mentioned that earlier, in our community, it really, or maybe I was thinking this in my head, but it really boils down to like who you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might have to shuck and jive for a minute. Just don't stay there shucking and jiving, but you might have to shuck and jive for a minute just to get your foot in the door, because it's not that you can't do it or you don't have the capability or the mental bandwidth or capacity. It's just what I look like. And I don't get the opportunity. You know? And that's why going to college, doing the internships, I wasn't able to do internships, but a lot of my peers did internships just within like the last 3 years. We're finally able to get into their into their actual field. And that was 5 years later. Whereas Joseph, or little Bradley, or little Sarah,
and Susie
they already have a job before they even get out of college.
Orchestrated and set up by their parents.
I'm just saying, the math don't be mathing. And it sucks that we have to work so much harder just to reach the bare minimum of their barrel. You get what I'm saying?
You know, I live and breathe this every day.
Yeah.
Credit for my work gets taken away. Nobody wants to give me my accolades or my flowers. When my boss gets a compliment about me, he's like, "Yeah, so thanks for taking care of that." Through mumbled lips,
like it just hurts him to say, "Good job. You did an amazing job on that."
You know,
yeah.
And so, in a sense, I've always been an overachiever, like in school, in work, and things like that. Madam can tell you about how many courses I sit up and take online, just making sure that I can continue my education, make sure I can stay sharp, be a resource, valuable to wherever I'm working, expand my skill set. And sometimes I really be like, what the fuck am I doing this for?
No,
and it's
seriously.
not about the credit. It's not about, it's not appreciated either. Like, why should I be bending backwards to try to make myself even more exceptional at work, when the exceptional work I do doesn't even get noticed? And so at this point, it's just like, okay, work is work. I have to have a job to live. I have to pay my bills. But I'm just gonna, all the energy that I was pouring into that to be extra, I could just pour that into myself.
Right.
And while we're talking about it, it's not just slavery that has bumped us back. It's the civil rights, the redlining, all these things. I'm sure all of y'all are familiar with the Tulsa race massacre, and that was Black Wall Street. So imagine the millionaires or even billionaires that could have still been alive had that not, like their descendants,
Even the community
There could have been money
in Georgia, like Lanier, that they flooded out an entire freaking community, just like in Tulsa. Tulsa's they burned.
They burned Tulsa.
The one in Lake Lanier wasn't even Lake Lanier. They drowned that community.
All affluent communities, anything within a certain time where Black people were doing well or getting ahead, there is like legislation or attacked. And you know, we have a lot of work to do. And I think the reparations talk, I don't think we're ever going to get that. The 40 acres and a mule, we ain't never getting that shit. But
they say California paying up. You know, California is a progressive state, y'all. I don't know. I love Cali. Now, to live in Cali, I don't know about all that. But I do like to visit Cali.
Cali got some nice weather.
They do. Next Cali visit, I want to go to down south, LA.
Oh, you trying to go to Inglewood?
Yeah. But I really want to get to the ocean.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, to the ocean. Normally I go to the Bay. Mm-hmm. I'm not normally in Southern California. So, got some people I want to see. Some things I want to see.
Some things we got to do, take care of.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it sucks that we're so great and we're so powerful that they're so threatened. Because those same communities that you were talking about, and I know it's more than Tulsa. I know it's more than, I cannot remember the name of that area where they flooded that and made it Lake Lanier. It does have a city name, but I can't remember what it is. In other cities, because we were so self-sufficient, we had our own doctors, black dentists, black eye doctors, black grocery stores, black banks. You know, we had a black bus route, right? Even with the Black Panthers, they started their own buses and bus routes to get the babies to and from school. Even the you know, what do they call it? The low reduction food program in school.
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
I had that. They started that.
Sorry, somebody was staring through the window.
Oh, they started that, you know? So like, but why did we have to do that when we already had it, but it was snatched from us?
So that's the thing, like, when Black communities, you know, the rest of the world was like segregation, or the rest of America was like segregate. And I think at one point we were like, okay. And when we started doing well,
they got pissed because they thought that we were going to fail. And they forgot that we are the blueprint, not the copies. They're the copies. And that's why they were failing.
And I just want to clarify something, guys. Podcast, freedom of speech is our First Amendment. And I'm going to say what I want to say. Because I'm not at work.
Well.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that I have... First of all, everything I said is okay. Hold on. I'm finna be messy. Everything I said is okay because I have white friends.
Oh, sweet Lord Jesus of Nazareth.
I have white friends.
You have to explain to the people what that means.
Okay, so white people sometimes say very prominent racist things.
And they'll say, oh, it's okay because I have Black friends.
It's okay, I have Black friends. I know. No, you guys, no. And I'm not racist. I don't harbor hate for anyone based off of anything that could be rooted in bigotry. I don't hate people because their skin tone, race, ethnicity, nothing. But I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that people in this country who are paler skinned have certain privileges that my black ass have never had and never will. And I'm okay with that. If I had to do this life all over again, I wouldn't choose to do it any differently. But I am going to call out the bullshit.
Well.
And it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but I'm waiting. I think our generation is going to do something spectacular for us. Some for us, by us shit.
FUBU.
FUBU.
I would love if FUBU came back.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be dope. NK Swiss. Y'all can keep Sean John.
Can. We're not even gonna mention that.
Next.
But yeah, so it's not that there's no bigotry here, there's no racism here. It's just we're calling it out how it is, how we've experienced it, how our family has experienced it, how our friends have experienced it. And I think we're probably the most qualified people to speak on our own personal experience and the Black experience. Other people always want to put their little 2 cents in, or how come y'all get to say nigga and I can't say nigga?
Girl, they even, well, how come y'all get to wear braids but we can't wear braids? Or how come when we wear braids, y'all get upset?
I'm not even going into cultural appropriation today, because I guarantee you Susie Q gonna take down them braids before she get on that interview.
Exactly. See, they like us when it's convenient for them. Right? Almost like you said, that infatuation. So it's like we're a toy. Oh, I want to play a little bit.
Oh, you're not like
let me
the
come in and
rest.
play a little bit.
Oh, you're not like the rest. Let me be infatuated. Let me fetishize. Girl.
Now, I do respect the white folks that are for us, by us, and they be out there protesting and
we have a lot of allies.
Several.
There are so many allies.
So many allies. And to y'all, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart and my soul.
The Underground Railroad would not have been nearly as successful without the help of some of our white allies.
For sure, because we hid in their basements, their attics.
They opened their houses to us when they could have been killed. We're not saying that all of America is racist, just the people in power.
Not even just the people in power. You got the ones that's, as they call them, low trash. They be racist too.
Oh, and I mean, but their racism doesn't really do anything. It's the people who make the decisions, the people in legislature and Congress.
The people who are making the decisions amplify the people who ain't in power that are racist. That's why, let me not get into that. Because I ain't really trying to get political. Let me not get into that. But
we had your president, Joe Biden, went on Charlemagne podcast, or they did an interview and said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't Black. And it's shit like that.
Joe.
Do you remember that? Because that
happened about 4 years ago.
Yeah, it happened in 2020. If you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. That man has never said ain't in his life.
Right.
Thank you.
So yeah, I forgot what I was about to say. I had a brain fart. Yes, my counterpart, my white counterparts, y'all that do advocate and that are allies, I appreciate y'all. I do have a few who I know personally, and have known personally for quite some time, and like years,
I have a white sister.
People like y'all, same. A few of them.
My mom adopted her. My mom was like, that's my other child too.
Yeah.
She invited to the cookout. I'll fix her plate.
But what also bothers me too is The ones that want to procreate with us.
What?
And I feel like they
I
be
ain't know Dr.
appropriating.
Umar.
I feel like they be appropriating. I think it's because I feel like they do, a lot of them, not all of y'all, but a lot of them do it due to their infatuation with the essence of being Black in Black culture and community.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, because they'll lay down and have a baby and make a Black baby, but then won't advocate for this same Black baby. Not literally, but I'm saying you lay down, man, woman, whatever, and made a Black baby, because they, the Constitution say a drop of Black means you Black. So they done laid down and made this baby. But then when it's time to be an ally or a true ally, a genuine ally, they in the corner shaking and trembling, sweating. You wasn't shaking and trembling and sweating when you made that baby. And then they make these babies and think that they get a pass.
Oh, I'm not racist. My child is Black.
Right. Similar to what you said earlier. I have Black friends. Oh, I have a Black son. I have a Black daughter.
You have a Black son, and yet you could not stop him from getting shot in the fucking street if you wasn't with him.
Yes, literally. The police would assume that Black son was somebody that was trying to harm you. And this is why it's so important for y'all to be genuine allies, or stop laying down and making Black babies. If you ain't gonna protect us, don't fuck with us.
Period.
And that's that on that.
We're going to close this episode out by saying thanks for being here. I know there was a lot of bitching done today, but it's cathartic in a sense. And like I said at the beginning, this is more so just to create the safe space so that other people know, other people of color, other Black people, y'all not alone. Like, I know it could feel like that, especially when you look around all 80 of your other colleagues and coworkers, and you the only little speck of brown. Don't be discouraged. Better, I always try to end things on a positive note. I know that our generation is going to do something spectacular.
Y'all better.
For us, by us.
FUBU.
And yeah, that's happy Juneteenth. Go out, celebrate, be happy. Have a drink or two.
Also, it's Pride Month too. Happy Pride to everybody.
It is Pride Month.
I almost forgot.
And and I was going over my mental notes. I meant to say that.
It's something else this month. Is it Black Music Month?
It might be Black Music History.
Black Music History, you're correct. Happy Black Music History Month as well. What else is this month? I think that's it.
Something totally unrelated and just an Alicia Alice thing. The summer solstice, longest day of the year. It's my favorite day of the year.
Oh God, let's get on with it. Let's get to the fall. I hate the summer, y'all. If you ain't get that at the beginning of this episode,
I have a sun tattoo.
I hate the summer
right here.
I don't. You can't. It's only so much skin you can take off when you overheat. Okay. It's only so much skin you can take off when you overheat. I can't do it. Oh, happy Father's Day to all of the true daddies, not just fathers, not the ones.
Your ass was gonna throw some shade. I knew you.
Not the ones that just laid down or stood up, whatever you
or
did.
Made Black babies and didn't protect them.
Amen. Happy Father's Day to y'all that are truly out there being real daddies that's taking up time, whether it's with your children, your students, your stepchildren, your nieces, your nephews, cousins, or anybody else's child, because it takes a village to really raise a child, and it takes a village to be an adult on top of that. So happy Father's Day to all of you father figures out there in whatever capacity that you hold that title. And for those of you that do not live up to that capacity of title, put you on the prayer line, because something coming for you. You got to do better, my brother.
We all got to do better. And that's what this episode is about. Us as a nation, doing better. Us as Black people coming together. We all need to do better.
Come on in the room.
I thought you were supposed to sing the old Negro spiritual.
That is old Negro spiritual. Come on in the room. old mama sing that song, girl. You better go and look that up on YouTube. It's like 13 minutes long because she be humming.
Book recommendation. Y'all know we got to have a book. We got to have books. So yes. I have 2 books for you guys today. One is called The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It is a historical fiction novel, and it is basically about a young child who is a half-breed because he's half Black and white, born into slavery. And it goes into his journey of the underground, and it's a great story. I think because of today's topic, you should read it. And then there's another one that also takes place during like the slavery time. It's called She Would Be King by Wyatt Moore, and great author. She used to live in Houston, actually. It was
H-Town Holland.
And these books, like these novels, are spectacular. It really flipped the narrative to think about how maybe I had a special ancestor back in the day that was helping other, people get to freedom or just doing cool stuff.
At some point.
Yeah, but check those books out.
Connected.
Historical fiction. I think y'all really like them. Yeah, check them out.
Check them out. Let us know what you think. I don't have a recommendation today. I left that up to Alice. So, anything else?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and being here today. Sorry for our delay, as Alice said earlier. Make sure that you are liking, supporting, subscribing, commenting on the video, on the podcast. Also, I want to say shout out to where we are right now, because as of today, we have, I have to pull it back up, y'all. We have 132 subscribers. And we did that all within a month. So congratulations, pat on the back. We appreciate y'all.
Is my elbow ashy? My God.
A little bit. So I just say all that to say, guys, that literally every single interaction with the podcast counts. Whether it's a like, a share, or a comment, it literally all counts. We're trying to reach the masses here and really talk to our people and our peers all around the world to help people. So regardless if you agree with everything that we talked about today or in previous episodes, anything like that, even if you don't even watch the whole episode, please just give it a thumbs up to support the channel. Share it on your social medias because you never know who's going to run into it that actually needs it. We appreciate y'all. You can follow me on Instagram at Madam Midheaven. You can follow Alice at that's 2 Y's. Call me Alice as well on Instagram. And make sure you're following the podcast on YouTube. We'll link that down below as well. And hey, let us know how you feeling. Any comments, suggestions, topics, even just a smiley face, whatever. It could be a cuss out face. I don't care. Holla at us. Let us know what you're thinking. It's a conversation, baby, and we want to hear from you.
We do.
Till next time.
Bye.
Heels in the box, Marissa Alexander, come on, she just wanted to live. It's a system played against us and we